Yo, what's love? I don't really say this often, but this long-winded Hispanic ain't for the long talking. Now, welcome to the first Literature 204 class that we're going to do. This is a lecture series. We're going to call it Rebellion, Rebirth, and the Individual through the lens of Hermann Hesse Demian. Right, 204, because this is not his easiest book. His easiest book is Siddhartha, which I've taught a lot of times. We'll get to that. For right now, we're focusing on this. Lecture 1 is called That's Beautiful, That's Dope. Now, that's a shout out to my man, Dondre. I'm going to explain that at the end of this lecture. 2 quick shout outs I would like to explain. Then we'll give a quick overview of the class. Then we'll get into the, couple points you're going to have to understand. First shout out is my man, Farik in Minnesota. Sent a question about the paper. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, comments on life, email me, reach out. It's fine. I love it. I'm not gonna write your paper for you, bro, but I hope you got a good grade. Right? Also, a shout out to, I hope I'm saying this right, Miss Steedley? Steedley? I'm sorry. They're her 11th grade class in Chesapeake. That's for you, all right? Virginia, takes one to know one, right? Speaking of all these things, you might be wondering, who is this guy wearing a polo shirt, Virginia flag, artistic horns right there, real horns right there. That's a machete, by the way. That's a flat brim Oakland Raiders hat. I like the Raiders, okay? I don't really care. Those are tons of books. I'm a lot of things, right? T.I. actually says, I'm immaculate and impoverished with the swagger of a college kid. Articulate, but still a grab, right? You know the rest. Long story short, you can be a combination of different things. And I honestly think in an approach, a quick little heads up, you have to combine multiple kind of different varying perspectives. And this is the space to do it, so why not? We're going to do it that way, but I'm not going to, well, you'll figure it out. But I'm not going to apologize for it. Just going to tell you up front. Let's have fun. Let's learn. Okay. Intro. And a quick little heads up. If this is your first time with Hermann Hesse, it might be a little awkward. You might stumble a little bit. You're going to be like, what? It's kind of like, huh? For a little bit. But once you get it, the truth shall set you free. We're going to talk about Joseph Campbell. We're going to talk about Nietzsche. We're going to talk about Eastern thought. Synthesis. I'd say true synthesis. And finally, I'll explain that quote. That's beautiful. That's dope. That's dope. That was today. Kid told me that. I'll tell you why. First, Joseph Campbell. Right? Joseph Campbell wrote The Power of Myth, which is somewhere in there. Or actually, it's in the next room where I have a humongous stack of books. Campbell wrote The Power of Myth, and The Power of Myth, long story short, has a archetypal hero's journey. Right, and it says that if you look at classic literature, if you look at religious studies, if you look at all these different things, right, you're going to notice a pattern, and that pattern tends to be, right, you start, right, you have this, hero usually leaves, has a challenge, rises above it, or doesn't, right, and then, either comes back, and, or rejoins somebody, comes back, and, there's this pattern that you see over and over again, right? Likewise with Hesse, there is a pattern that he's going to talk about. It relates to rebellion, rebirth, and not fitting in, I would say. I thought about including that. But in the individual's journey, a different type of individual, slightly different type of individual. It's their journey, right? That's the whole notion of Cain. We're going to get into that, right? And I like to tell students this, Hesse is not talking to everybody. He's talking to some people, the exceptional few. So that's a fair heads up, right? Which leads us to point number 2, which is Nietzsche, which is one of his biggest philosophical influences. Nietzsche was a German philosopher. If you don't know them, look him up on Wikipedia. Existentialist, and a lot of people think he's a bad guy. A lot of people think he's, a very influential, important thinker. Nietzsche simplified would be that there are certain people who are exceptional, and there are most people who are the herd. Nietzsche is sometimes viewed with a frown, oh, he's so bad. Ultimately, he had an interesting point that I'm borrowing from Robert Solomon, by the way. This is our mid. Let me pause for a second. Respect to Robert Solomon, whose lecture course series, Existentialism, No Excuses, like really taught me a lot, a hell of a lot. I was going to call him up before this lecture series began and like try to pick his brain. And I found out he has passed. So somebody has to bring this message to a new generation in a new way. Professor Solomon, this one's for you, along with all my other students, along with Grandpa and all that stuff, right? So thank you for teaching me about Nietzsche, and let's see if we can pass it down, because there is an important message, as you point out, as Hesse points out. But anyway, Nietzsche in saying that there's a lot of people, there's the herd, and there's a few people, there's the exceptional. What that does is it's motivation, actually, right? Again, he uses more exclamation points. He wants you to live your life, right? Live your life. Oh, I'm listening to a lot of T.I. I'm going to try to simmer down now. You can have whatever you like. This song is really good. All right, focus, right? If you say that, hey, this is actually only for certain ones of you, most people pay attention, actually. It's like this interesting motivator, right? The few, the proud, the Marines. If you set up a small group, a select club, and you say, this is a message for you guys, people are like, wait, what? What is it, right? So there is a message here, and we're going to get to it. But understand that Nietzsche influences Hesse in this. There are two types of people. Hesse was also interesting that he studied Eastern thought. Where's my Eastern stuff? Hold on. Right? It's around. I brought most of it in because we were just doing Hinduism in school as well, but whatever. Hesse studied Eastern thought a lot, and the main idea, to delineate Eastern and Western philosophy. Western philosophy is about I, the individual. Eastern philosophy is about we, the collective, right? The whole, like we are one, like it's the Zen Buddha, like, what do you call that? Yin Yang thing? That's, so anyway, it's a we, not an I culture, and we are one is kind of the ultimate truth. And so a lot of Hesse's stories are about this individual kind of going through this process only to discover that like we are one and everything's going to be okay. So he takes some ideas from Nietzsche. He takes some ideas from Eastern thought. He takes his own kind of tortured history. And if you're interested in that, look it up. I mean, this is a man who struggled with his demons, Hermann Hesse. He combines it. He synthesizes that. And he's one of the first writers. It's really cool to take Eastern thought and Western thought and combine them. And when he does so, he is talking to a specific type of person, but I think there's a message that's very empowering and very interesting, very important to hear early on. So that's what we're going to be exploring. If it sounds complex and weird, bear with it. Let it unfold a little bit and hang in there, okay? Finally, that's beautiful, that's dope, right? That's dope. Today I went to an IMAX theater. I saw a 3D movie. I've never seen a 3D movie, okay? There's no TV in my room. Like, what? Anyway, so I went to this 3D movie. And I'm sitting with my man Dandre, who's, different. And I knew he was going to have to, chat things through during the movie. And he has his glasses on, me too. And I'm like, whoa, I was like, oh my gosh, dude. Hubble, like, it looks like the stars are coming at you. I was like, what is this? Right? We're sitting there, and I look over at one point. Dandre is literally reaching for the stars. Like, I'm not, like, he's like, my ass is like moving through space. He's like, whoa, and me too, right? I'm like, whoa. And he turns to me at one point, and he's asking, like, what's that? And, like, what do you mean nebula? I'm like, it's just solar. We're talking back and forth, right? And yes, a couple of people are like, I don't care, man. This kid's getting exposed to something beautiful. And it cracked a little bit. He cracked that little tough guy veneer that everyone has, that some people had / have. He goes, that's beautiful. And I'm waiting. And I'm like, he goes, that's dope. That's dope. And he said it like, that's beautiful. Nah, that's dope. And I was like, it's cool. Like, it is dope. It's beautiful. Like, you said it. You hinted at it. But then you flipped back into, like, it is dope. Yo. So, hashtag, okay? Life is beautiful. And it can be different. And you'll get it. And once it clicks, it clicks. So, questions, concerns, comments, thoughts on life. Holler. Right? I just got Twitter, no, Instagram. Who knows, man? The world is a-changing. Let's go along for the ride. And it is changing, but Hesse's message is very important. Ándale pues.